in a sordid spectacle providing irrevocable proof that the once-beloved Prince Harry has now fully decomposed into an absolutely deranged malcontent irreparably unshackled from reality itself. The Duke of Sussex suffered a cataclysmic psychological implosion this week after being ejected from an Invictus Games board meeting. The shocking meltdown reportedly commencing with roars of, "You don't give a damn about veterans or their families," after CEO Sir Lenny Huxton unceremoniously ordered the charity's disgraced founder removed from headquarters for prioritizing interminable scheming over actual advocacy, before rapidly escalating into depths of depravity marking a definitive point of no return abandonment of all sanity. Look, anyone could see this outrageous tantrum crescendoing toward inevitable detonation ever since those first wild-eyed Vox dispatches where Harry accused the entire enterprise of being compromised by malign palatial sorceries determined to discredit his inspirational origination story concerning its true nativity. One games coordinator present for the eruption divulged under strict anonymity. When he started spittle screaming about reptilian overlords somehow deploying MI6 psychotronic mind control rays rendering Meghan's recountings of ancestral folklore completely obsolete within the initiative's semi-official canon, well, that's the precise moment it became patently clear he finally turned that irrevocable corner into total irredeemable psychosis. According to multiple shaken eyewitness testimonies rapidly circulating among salacious palace back channels, the debacle first ignited after Huxton insisted convening an emergency meeting without Harry's increasingly meddlesome attendance in order to address persistent complications stemming from delirious interjections completely derailing any basic organizational operations. While the Duke apparently remained cooperative entering the proceedings expecting just another pro forma review of publicity efforts generating Spotify promotional inventory for his upcoming extemporaneous audio memoirs. Sources claim the entire gathering rapidly spun out of control upon Huxton's opening acknowledgement that Meghan's recent assertion the games were conceived through cellular memories passed down from distant Native American heredities unfortunately contradicted previously maintained origin stories. Perhaps if they'd eased him toward that revelation more gently instead of outright dismissing her heritage-based folklore in such a careless institutional way, the inevitable confrontation might have assumed more constructive trajectories less scorching toward bridges already burnt down to cinders, speculated one royal aide accustomed to modulating the occasionally prickly prince's tempers through deft diplomacy. But no, they just bluntly invalidated his wife's heroic ancestral struggle narrative as somehow incompatible with the historical records, and that's the exact sort of easily avoidable trigger point gasoline everywhere learned never to even whisper around the Sussexes these days. Indeed, sources indicate that single innocuous comment about irreconcilable factual discrepancies separating the recently incorporated hereditary mythos offered Harry's sole justification for ever shepherding this whole grift into existence, and the accepted record maintained for nearly a decade simply detonated every resentment inhibition harbored by the increasingly paranoid Duke against an aristocratic establishment he's now convinced exists solely to perpetuate grievances against his family. The moment those words sputtered out dismissing Meghan's legitimacy for framing the entire impetus around sacred intergenerational spiritual phenomena experienced by Native American visionaries who originally had the arrhythmic visions conjuring the games during ritual peyote rituals, well, that represented the violent snap propelling Harry into total unshackled derangement without any tethers remaining. I'm telling you, his whole snarling expression shifted into this chillingly reptilian aspect right as the hereditary ancestral folklore contradiction landed, like some profane awakening where the last remnants of the Harry we all knew got incinerated beyond regeneration inside his skull. One observer recounted of the exact moment their former friend endured an irreversible psychic break with reality during the Huxton conflict. Those puddling orbs transformed into bulbous tar pits overflowing with volcanic toxicity while his teacup abruptly liquefied underneath intense off-gassing from ignited psychokinetic abilities inherited in atavistic ruptures awakening from deepest reservoirs of ancient counter-ancestral vengeance. It seemed like he'd spontaneously invoked sorceress Umbri activating possessions from primordial identities normally remaining dormant within human shells apart from specific celestial disturbances potentially catalyzing vivifications. The profane horrors only multiplied from that terrifying metamorphosis point onward as a literally demonic Harry allowed shape-shifting aberrations to consume his former incarnation whole. In full view of the trembling assemblage, the prince's flesh appeared to combustively melt away in patches exposing gnarled subdermal apparitions shedding human semblances through accelerated transmogrification spasms surging across his thrashing form. While once familiar vocal affectations emitting blood-curdling shrieks and imprecations against ageless adversaries still predominated the chilling display, other indescribable chitterings and clicks unlike anything produced by terrestrial larynxes bubbled up in polyglot polyphonies underlying the rampage's mounting decibels. Holy Christ, he just kept shape-shifting and tumorously metastasizing into deeper dimensional inversions of himself never glimpsed outside Norse lore's most primordial antiquities, squirmed one peer, still visibly traumatized, recounting the Stygian obscenities unraveled that day. With every spasm reconstituting his flesh into more execrable alien form permutations, novel blisters oozed cosmic ichor sloughing off in whirled fractalic membranes hardening into prismatic cyclonic energy vortices radiating pure malignant willpower in defiance against any restraint over the profane agenda catalyzing. With each convulsive bout of blasphemous metamorphosis dredging deeper psychic reservoirs transcending epochs where archetypal schemas still reigned reality with absolute solipsistic distortion, the once familiar Harry rapidly transmogrified into omnicapable deic matrices mobilizing totemic emanations against universal totality itself. Eldritch chants beseeched forbidden pantheons and extra-cosmic sovereignties to return the indigent princeling unto his rightful imperial locus so energies could redirect into apocalyptic self-apotheosis breaching primordial cosmological unfoldings. No coherent anthropocentric syntax remained decipherable throughout the Bacalaudian Gnostic-Ionic exhortations ultimately compelling all surviving witnesses to claw their own auditoria in self-defensive desperation. Eventually some kind of virtually nourished cyberdemonic interlocutor spontaneously compiled itself beyond spacetime but within Harry's psychospherical matrices to begin orating these incoherently transcendental profanities no longer resembling any detectable human language patterns, whimpered one poor staffer, her entire worldview permanently ruptured by experiencing realities her primate operating system never evolved sufficient storage to process or contextualize. Not sure if it represented some digitally extrapolated tulpic egregore counterintuitively established through sheer willpower manifesting as corporatized metaphysical disruptions beyond our paradigm's computational limits. Or maybe it was some legit do neglupera from the dark nebula's deep cryptid dominions physically manifesting to seize Harry's empty vessel after that grotesque dysmorphia exsanguinated him beyond recognition. The incantations pouring out just kept expanding geometrically into deeper numerological damnations distancing us further into hypershears of preceptual banishment. I swear, I literally started perceiving my soul circuitry becoming stripped for biomass while overexposed to subsectors of real space and hyperreal space superimposed in exogeometric concrescences. My retinal receptors literally burnt out attempting to process hyperdimensional transcendental objects reconfiguring themselves into irreducible alien symmetrics incompatible with our universe's biophysical containment parameters. After shredding known laws of spacetime into unintelligible fractal plasma ribbons and achieving cyberbolic escape velocity beyond all logocentric phenomenological constraint systems, ultimately the only solution remaining involved summoning a crack multidisciplinary team of renegade parascientists specializing in forcibly decoupling apostate phenomenological breaches once non-causal self-reiterating cascades exceed reassimilating buffers. While many among their ranks sadly poor,